Sup witches, this is day 29 of the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge by Ethany, and today's question is, how do you feel about tarot deck modification? Do you draw on your decks, trim the borders, or is it a no-go for you and why? So basically, how do I feel? If it's a deck that I can easily order again, I can do some of the modification because I don't like borders. And at first, when I started to do tarot, it didn't bother me that much. But then when I saw some people posting pictures of decks without borders, I'm like, wow, it just makes so much sense. It connects more the two or three cards together. You see the overall picture of the story, and the borders sometimes they kind of like get in the way in the story, but this is just, this is just me, and some people would agree with me, the people who trim the borders. So basically, I have 3 decks that I trimmed the borders or colored. So let's start with the Druidcraft Tarot. And these cards were huge. They were like, probably like that. So they were quite huge, and it had a wide border and another sort of relief type of border. So right now I trimmed them, and look at this, it connects. You see what I mean? It's connecting between each other. So this was the back. And it wasn't my best trim. I bought this trimmer, which wasn't perfect, but still. Sometimes I would cut more at the edges or less, more of the title or less, but I still like it that way, and I feel it's connecting. So now, this is one of the first decks. I think it's the first deck that I ever cut. And then I'm gonna talk about coloring the edges. So this is Tarot Illuminati, and this one, the edges were kind of white, but here it's black, a black border, but the edges were printed like on a white paper. So I just took a permanent marker and I colored every card edge one by one like that, and I just feel it looks better this way. So, Tarot Illuminati, very colorful deck. Then obviously let's go back to the classics, which is the RWS Centennial Edition. I trimmed it. I saw it in a group on Facebook called Tarot with Scissors. And then you see how people, they trim their decks or they color it, and it's wow, it's beautiful. So I definitely like it more this way. Although I didn't trim it perfectly, and some cards are not the same shape, unfortunately, but I still love them and I accept them the way I trimmed them. So you see, for example, I find when you put cards together without a border, it does make a difference. So how about the decks that I would not trim? Obviously, I wouldn't trim decks that are expensive or out of print, like this Tarot, the Touchstone Tarot. I wouldn't trim it because it's so expensive, and the edges are gilded in gold. Here. So obviously decks that you have the golden edges, like, it feels wrong to trim them for me. But the other ones, and the ones that you know that even if you screw up by cutting the edges, you could still get a new copy, if anything, if you do it in the really wrong way. Like, look here, I messed up, for example. You see, I cut it like too much, I'd say. But I still know that this is the Knight of Pentacles just by looking at it, right? So it doesn't matter that much. Alright, that's about it for deck modifications. Thank you for watching.